Okay, there we go. So, I am Emily Czaplewski. I'm here with Suzanne Weigel. The date is July 3rd, 2014, and we are at her home in New Berlin. And our reason for our interview is to talk about 4-H oral history and to talk about her 4-H experience and to just document it and enter it as a fair project so other people can learn about what 4-H meant to her. So, first question. So when did you join 4-H? Like, how long were you involved in it?
Ooh. Shoot. I think it was 4 years, and it was in grade school, so it was probably 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I think. And we had a fairly large group. I don't know how many. We had meetings. I was vice president. My friend's mother got me involved. And so my friend and I always took the same classes. It was just easy that way. And yeah.
So which 4-H club did you belong to? Like, where was it?
It met at St. Aloysius. I don't know what name it was.
So did you, like, when you entered in fair, which fair did your projects go to?
I don't know, wherever they took me. I honestly, I don't know. I was so young, and again, my parents were not involved, and I just kind of, they picked me up and took me, so I don't know. Yeah, gee, I'm sorry.
Because I know now, like, with Milwaukee County 4-H, they show their projects at State Fair during Harvest Fair, which is cool.
Oh, yes, very much so.
But yeah, I'm not sure where they would have shown them then.
I know we had them on display at Mayfair.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was or what that was. And I know I had ribbons. I don't know. Sorry.
So what are some of your favorite memories from 4-H?
The top one has to be the drill team. I really enjoyed that. And it was, like I told you, put on by a gentleman who was, I think, in the Air Force, and just taught us all the drill team moves he taught to his troops. And I unfortunately was there the last year, and the man probably became ill, I think it was. I don't remember, I was pretty young. And therefore my group never performed at anything or in parades, which they normally would have. They would wear a white sweatshirt with a green clover on it, with the 4-H clover, a beret, and white gloves. And they marched in parades, and it was really cool. I've seen them, but I was never able to actually do the marching in the parade. So,
can you explain, like, what the marching was, or like what the routine that you did was?
Well, it was all according to his verbal order. So we would just march in the parade in a very tight group, and he would say right flank, left flank, quarter to the rear, or whatever. And you would take those verbal cues and move as a group in a very tight, uniformed way. And it was pretty impressive looking. There were actual members who had the guns, the white, performance rifles, whatever you call them. And there were a couple of those. And they were really tight and in unison and very well practiced. So it was a good discipline.
So what are some of the other projects that you did in 4-H?
I did beadworking, Indian beadworking, actually put on by 2 women who were Indians. I don't know how we ended up with them in our group because they weren't members, I don't think. I've never seen them before or after that point, but they came over to someone's house and for several hours on a Saturday would teach us how to loom beads and make different jewelry pieces. I think I only took it for 1 year, but I kept my beads and my loom and made different things, and then would enter them, enter the projects. But my friend's mother always kind of took over the whole thing and made the entries, and I don't know the logistics of all of that.
Did you do any other projects in fair or in 4-H?
We did baking a couple times, which made me very comfortable with baking, which was a good thing. Growing up and cooking further, learning how to cook for a family, I was always confident in what I was doing. I took a sewing class and was awful at it. I think I got pink and white ribbons, and I don't remember which is the worst, but those are the two bottom ones. But it was fun regardless. You would think that sewing is simple, but... And then I would go and look at the state fair and see these projects that these women did, which were just so phenomenal. I thought, okay, I am definitely not talented in this area, so I'll do something else. They had 2 girls who were sisters, who were older girls. Their last name was Weigel, and their parents were very much involved in 4-H as well. But these 2 girls / women led the drama team, and we were always in competitions for the state fair, I don't know, local competitions with the clubs. I don't know. I know we always won, but I don't know any of the, I don't know any of the places or the competitions.
What kinds of things did you do in there? Like, was it acting or dancing?
It was always a dramatic musical type of thing. And there were always 3 or 4 songs put together kind of with a theme, and it was just kind of a little short show. It was kind of fun.
Cool.
I remember one was about... I remember the songs. I could sing them for you, but I won't. They were songs from current musicals, and so they were very popular. And the girls choreographed the whole thing, and it really was neat. It was about 25 people in a quote-unquote show, and they just had us all moving around the stage and doing different things. And I think that made me very interested in theater / dance. I ended up majoring in dance in college. The performance end of it was very appealing to me.
So what were some of the positive impacts or positive experiences that 4-H had on you? So it made you interested in drama and theater. What are some other things that it taught you or that you...
I think the biggest thing overall that it taught me was confidence. That I could do things. If I had an interest, I could pursue it, and I could do it. And that kind of accomplishment when you're a kid is priceless. But you have to, someone has to provide you instruction and then kind of let you go and see where your abilities take you. And 4-H really nurtured that. And I appreciate it immensely to this day. I think was one of the most positive experiences that I ever had. I remember at the time of joining, I had kind of wanted to be part of the Girl Scouts, but it was a huge investment in time and actually money. There was the uniform and all the badges, and things were it was constantly a financial investment with which my parents were not wanting to do that. And there was just a lot of obligation to it that wasn't very appealing to me or my parents. So, but when this person came up with 4-H and brought it up to me, and you didn't have to have a uniform, and you didn't have to, be competitive with anyone else but yourself, which was very appealing to me. So, yeah.
So talking about, like, this is the 100 years of 4-H, the centennial of 4-H in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And so why do you think 4-H has been around for 100 years? Like, what do you...
Oh, because I think when someone goes through it and then turns into an adult, they can constantly look back on that and see how important it actually was. Whereas at the time it was just fun, but in retrospect, you learned so much and gained so much from interacting with people. It was just valuable. And you see that when you get older, and so you want to continue that for the generations coming up. And it's so much richer, dare I say, than scouting. Truly, I believe that.
So would you have, like, interest in, like, leading a project or doing something to, like, work with?
You know what? I would. I don't have the teaching gene confidence. I am so fearful of misinstructing someone that I don't want to instruct them for fear of telling them the wrong thing. Because even now, even with gardening, which apparently I have a knack for, I still am discovering I was wrong about something and then, have to redo it and learn more. And that's great, but I don't want to tell someone and then, oh my gosh, go a year later that I was wrong about something.
Although that is part of 4-H, it's just like almost trial and error for some things. It's like just, well, I believe it's the slogan. I always get the slogan and the whatever the other one is confused. But one of them is learn by doing and the other one is to make the best better. But the learn by doing thing would probably apply there. Just, it's just taking something and just doing it until, just trial and error doing it until you get it right.
I guess if you can instill in them the guarantee that, at that moment it seems like the best thing, but, it may change and be better, or you may be totally wrong, or whatever.
So what do you think 4-H, or why do you think 4-H will continue for, like, hopefully for another 100 years or longer? But
because there's nothing like one-on-one human experience being shared and learning from another person hands-on. There's nothing like that. It's the best way to learn. It really is. I've learned a lot from the computer, from the internet, from reading, but nothing like another person. And that's incredibly valuable. And that human contact is, priceless.
So do you have any other, like, favorite memories from, like, different things you did, funny, like, incidents that happened? Or you said you did it with your friend. Did that, like, help bring you to, like, closer together as friends, doing it together?
Let me see. I thought about something this morning, which I don't know if it has anything to do with anything, but her name was Jane Schultz, and she and I we needed to make muffins. It was a requirement for this class, I guess you call it. I don't know what you call it. Do you call them classes?
Like projects?
Projects.
Yeah.
So we had to go to the store and buy blueberries to make blueberry muffins, we decided. There were no frozen blueberries, and it was like late in the season, and so we bought raspberries. They were excellent, but I was very surprised. I'd never had raspberry muffins before, and they turned out very good. We made them at her house, and then two boys who were good friends who were interested in both of us. Oh, this was ninth grade, so it had to be 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th that we were in it. Because these boys came over, and I guess it was my first double date. But, and so these boys came over and watched us, eat. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, that was a funny memory. My friend Jane and I.
Are there any other, funny incidents that happened to you while you were doing projects?
I honestly can't think of anything in particular.
So is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that you did?
What's funny is my extent of experience with 4-H at the time was that there were just these projects, and we did these, and there was theater stuff and sewing and baking, and I never realized that 4-H actually had an agricultural arm to it. I had no idea. So when I saw that at the state fair when my parents had taken me, I thought, oh, this is new. Where it actually was the original. So I had no idea, though. So all that to say, 4-H really extends itself to whether you live in a city or rural or whatever. I mean, I think you can find valid things to get involved in with 4-H. So that's very cool. Because I didn't have any chickens or I have no idea about anything about farming or growing anything. No idea. So I don't know that I would have taken any gardening or growing classes with plants, because for many years I couldn't even grow a houseplant. And I had no interest in seeing stuff die, so I just didn't pursue it, and then found this later in life. So
now you're a beautiful gardener. So
oh, thank you very much.
So when you did judging, did you do a face-to-face judging, or did you just have your projects go and then the judges
they'd go and disappear, them? They'd take them, and then they'd come back with ribbons. So I don't really know that end of it at all. And who does judging? I don't even know.
Well, now, at least for Waukesha, when we take our projects to county fair, it's divided into 2 days before fair. So the cultural arts, arts and crafts, different projects that go under cultural arts, those are judged on Monday, and then everything else is judged on Tuesday. And you take your projects with the tags, and you just go to the judge for, each different type of project. And it's face-to-face judging, so you go over each project, and the judge looks at it, you talk about it, explain what you did, what you learned, and then the judge will ask you questions about it, and then they'll give it the ribbon, and it's based on you're judged against yourself, which is something I didn't know when I first joined 4-H. So every kid, if the judge deems that they did the best that they could do, every entry in fair could get a blue ribbon.
Oh my!
But so it's not just one blue, one red, one white, one pink.
Big purple one.
Yeah, there's the champions, which are if the judge thinks that the project is exceptionally good, or that the 4-H member learned a lot from the project, they really grew a lot, they can give that a champion or a merit ribbon, and then it can also be considered for state fair. Oh, so then a group of projects from each county will go to state fair and be on display there. So that's and then once they're at state fair, about I think 10 or 20% of all projects there can get a champion ribbon at state fair. So that's the highest that your project can go, is to get the champion at state. And but anyway, so when I first joined 4-H, I didn't know that you were just judged against yourself. So I'm like, okay, well, how is this going to work? Is my quote going to be judged against like a cow? Like, how is this going to...
Sure.
I had no idea how any of it worked. And I remember taking my first project. It was for arts and crafts, and it was like a little headband that I had made. I had taken fabric and like covered it in the fabric and just sewn it. And so I went up to the judge. I had no idea what to expect, and I sat down and they started asking me about my project, you know, and how long have you been in it, and just, you know, whatever. And I said, well, it's my first year. And they asked, well, what did you make? So I explained my project to them, and they gave me a blue ribbon on the project. And I'm like, I had no idea how any of this worked, so I didn't know that it was just judged against yourself. So that was just a really positive experience for me, and my first experience with judging in 4-H. And that was probably one of the things that made me really want to stick with it. Is it's just and then also like get some of my other friends to join it, just because it's positive, and you really learn a lot from doing the judging, because you learn how to talk with someone else, how to explain like what you did and what you learned, and just, I would say you learn so much from the judging process, probably about as much as you learn doing the project. I mean,
I wonder if they did that kind of judging years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they started doing it. I think each county started doing it at a different time. And then they also have like open class, which is if you're not in 4-H or when you're out of 4-H. So like if you're an adult, you can enter open class, and that's just where you take your projects, drop them off, and then the judge looks over them, and they just pick like a blue, a red, a white, and a pink. And I'm not sure if everybody gets a ribbon for that or how that works, but I know that's not face-to-face judging, so it's just based on what you have and what the judges think. So that's probably how yours was done, I would imagine. But but you definitely learn a lot from the judging experience if you do like the face-to-face. Yeah. And it gives you, like you were talking about confidence before, it really gives you a lot of confidence, and especially when you have like the little like 4-year-old, 5-year-old clover buds doing this, and just going up to a judge and just being able to explain to them like what they did.
And an adult is listening to you, my goodness.
And I'm sure they have, like I didn't join it until I was, I think, 10, but I'm sure that gives them a lot of confidence, and they grow so much, I'm sure, from the first year they do it to by the time they're a senior in high school and graduate from it. I'm sure they just have such a huge growth in just talking to someone, and it's basically a form of public speaking. So, and you have usually multiple judges there that you're talking to, so it's definitely an interesting process. But yeah, so lots of positive experiences and lots of just different ways to grow in 4-H. So
yeah, I think I would like to give some kind of class in gardening, but I wouldn't even know how to embark on that.
Although it's interesting, because once you start to just kind of dig through and like take what you know and what you know and what you could teach to somebody else, you know so much, and everybody knows something that they can pass on to everyone else. And I think that's really how 4-H has been around for 100 years, because somebody knew something, and even if they're not maybe the most comfortable doing it, or they don't know really what they can show, they can pass that skill on to somebody else, and it just keeps going. It's the ripple effect, where the one little ripple in the whole lake, it doesn't make the whole lake move, but each ripple will eventually have an impact on everybody else. So
well, there are some basics that are tried and true.
Yeah. So, and I've learned a lot just from working with you at fairs.
I really pray I don't misguide you in any way. Gosh, what a disaster this spring. I wouldn't have believed it. I really thought this was going to be a super easy year, because I did all these perennials and thought, they'll just come back. everything died. Everything died. And I was waiting so long for a sign of some kind of life. And it's like, finally, I just said, these aren't coming back, and I need to get something in these pots. So I ended up tearing it all out. It was awful.
Well, it looks beautiful now, so.
Yeah, thank you.
But
no one will ever know.
oh, there you go. So, and at 4-H, we call that a design feature. Like when you have something and it didn't quite turn out the way you planned, it's a design feature.
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay. This was, yes, overall, really, determined by God. Yeah, it turned out okay.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your 4-H experience.
Sure. I am looking forward to the celebration at the fair. I am actually going to go that day and, peruse around with a 4-H sticker on my scooter.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I was a member.
Well, I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you.